Good day everyone. My name is John Ivan F. Plange, Saint John, your teacher for today lesson, which is the zeros of a rational function. So, what is zeros of a rational function? Zeros of a rational function is A over B, and B must not be equal to 0. Because if b or the denominator is equal to 0, it can be rational function. It called undefined. It cannot be solved. And in case of 0 over 0, that's any case or indeterminate case. Now let's move to how to find the zeros of a rational function. So we have 4 steps in finding the zeros of rational function, which is factor the given rational function, first step. Second step, find the restriction. Third step, same steps at restriction but look at the numerator. And fourth step, which is the final answer. So to give you an idea, I have example here. So let's solve. So first step, factor the given rational function here. So x plus 3, x plus 2. So over x plus 2 over x minus 2. Now that's the first step, which is the factoring of rational function. Now let's move to the second step, finding the restriction. When we say restriction, it can be the answer. So to find the restriction, we must equate them to zeros. Yeah, we must equate them to 0. Now, to give you an idea here, this is how to find the second step. So finding the restriction, look at the denominator. Here, the denominator only for the restriction. So equate them to 0. X plus 2 is equals to 0, it will become x is equals to negative 2. So x is equals x minus 2 is equals to 0, it will become x equals to positive 2. Now that's the restriction, negative 2 and positive 2. Now for the third step, same steps as restriction, equate them to zeros, but to the case numerator, look at the numerator. So case of x plus 3, third step, x plus 3 is equal to 0, it will become x is equals to negative 3, and x plus 2 is equals to 0, it will become x is equals to negative 2. Now for the first step, we must analyze the values of the second step and third step. Restriction, we said before that restriction can be the answer. So if the values of step 3 same as the values of step 2, that's not the answer. So the answer here, or the final answer here, is the negative 3 of negative 3. It is the value of the zeros of a rational function. For the next example, we have the equation of x squared plus 12x plus 36 over x squared plus 2x minus 24. So first, remember the first step, factor the given rational equation. So we must factor them first. First, the numerator, x plus 6 and x plus 6. Now for the denominator, x plus 6 and x minus 4. So here's the first step. Now for the second step, which is the restriction, remember the restriction, it can't be the answer. So in finding the restriction, we must equate them to zeros. So finding the restriction, denominator, remember that. So x plus 6 is equals to 0, it will become x is equals to negative 6. So, we must box them. So, x minus 4 is equals to 0. Transpose the zeros, it will become x equals to 4. So, now we have the restriction for third step. Same steps like restriction, but look at the numerator. So, same steps like x plus 6 is equals to 0. Transpose the 0, it will become x equals to negative 6. Box them. So, same step ulit. X plus 6 equals to 0. Transpose the 0, it will become x is equals to negative 6. Now, analyze the step 2 and step 3. You may notice that the step 3 here have the same values in restriction, which is the negative 6. So the case here is no 0. Why? Because x minus 6 have the same values in restriction. So, meaning to say, it can't be the answer. So, the answer here is no 0. Thank you for the wonderful discussion, and I hope you learned something from me. And goodbye.